Calgary, Buffalo, followed by Edmonton, Strathcona.
Future Albertans, future children and grandchildren of this province, call the cops. You've been robbed. Actually, robbed is too generous of a term. This hasn't been no rank-and-file break-and-enter or minor shoplifting offence. You have been the victim of grand larceny of the highest order. It's on par with the scam pulled by Bernie Madoff, and it makes the great train robbery look like child's play. With the release of the budget, we have learned that over the last 25 years, this province has taken in and spent virtually $150 billion in resource revenue. Does the Minister of the Treasury Board think this has been a wise stewardship of our resource revenue?
Honourable Minister.
You know, Mr. Speaker, I am very proud of this Premier and direction in creating legislation that will save non-renewable resource revenue moving forward. I'm also very proud, Mr. Speaker, that over the past 15 years, this government has spent over $72 billion on the infrastructure that those very Albertans will be using in future generations and are using today because, Mr. Speaker, they want their school, they want their hospital, they want their road, and they want it there when they need it, not when sometime in the future to defer some number, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, please be reminded that questions ought not be hypothetical and they ought not seek opinion, and we could rephrase accordingly. Honourable member.
Given that virtually every economist over the last 25 years has stated unequivocally that we need to raise revenues to ensure that this intergenerational theft that has occurred is not repeated, why, despite the overwhelming body of research that says the right thing to do is to raise revenue, has this government refused to rework our tax code?
Good question. Honourable Minister.
You know what, Mr. Speaker, I would take issue with his comment about every economist has said to raise taxes, Mr. Speaker. They haven't. And I would also say, Mr. Speaker, that the benefit that Albertans have reaped from the non-renewable resource revenue is the fact, Mr. Speaker, that we have no net financial debt for this province. It's the fact, Mr. Speaker, that we have the lowest taxes in the land. It's the fact, Mr. Speaker, we have no sales tax. It's a fact, Mr. Speaker, that we have $41 billion of net financial assets for every Albertan. That's better than anywhere else, I would suggest, per capita in North America, Mr. Speaker. That's been a huge benefit, and it will benefit future generations, Mr. Speaker, because of the financial stability it creates.
Honourable member.
Well, given that the Minister of the Treasury Board obviously considers these economists to be off their rocker, does this government believe that two former finance ministers, Mr. Morton and Mr. Leipert, former Minister Mel Knight, and Chief of Staff Lee Richardson have all stated that additional taxes need to be raised in this province, or does he consider these people to be merely fear-mongering?
No, absolutely not, Mr. Speaker. In fact, I value their opinions greatly, just as I valued all of the opinions of the Albertans who told us, check and live within your means before you dig in my pocket again, Mr. Speaker, and that's exactly what we did. Mr. Speaker, I'll give you an economist's opinion, Mr. Speaker. The approach, and this is a quote, Ben Brunin, Chief Economist with the Calgary Chamber, the approach of using debt to finance capital is actually a prudent one, in the sense that these infrastructure assets last decades, and it makes, get this, Mr. Speaker, it makes good sense to finance them over their useful life, Mr. Speaker. There's an economist, Mr. Speaker, and I wholeheartedly agree with his opinion on that one.